assassins with nowhere to hide. Explosives buzzing like a neon light. Guns blazing, gory, they're all the night. Action's calling, adrenaline rush. Get ready for the thrill and a powerful crush. Guns, bikinis, raving on the edge. Explosive moments that we made our pledge. Fighting for justice in this beautiful haze. In the heart of the action, we'll set it ablaze.
Once more, the strangest people on the internet gather to talk about some of the strangest movies that have ever been made. In this case, we continue Sedaris September to discuss the penultimate Sedaris film, at least in our current plans, Hard Hunted. Joined, as always, on these Sedaris adventures with the illustrious, the Twitter famous, at least in certain circles, the academia to my mania, Molly Raspberry. Molly Razz, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing okay. I'm having trouble fitting this song. It's been a tech
It's just too good. You can't stop it.
It's too good. It's been a tech nightmare over here for several days. I have episodes of my actual podcast that I have to get out over at Binge Movies at podbean.com, available on all podcast platforms. And yeah, I haven't been able to upload a file or put anything in Google Drive for days, and still can't figure it out. But somehow I'm able to live stream, so that's all right.
Woohoo! Small miracles, right there.
Small miracles. This is our penultimate episode. Now, there's like 16, 17 of these triple B Sedaris films, but then we start getting into the Lethal series, which is kind of an offshoot of this series, or for all I know, it is a continuation. I don't know. The whole time, I'd seen Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and that was it. And then you and I, earlier in the summer, we did the first 4 in the triple B series. And then we had so much fun. We said, just for the heck of it, let's do the next 4, and we did, and we're doing that now. But I'm by no means claiming to be a Sedaris expert, nor an expert in these films. I'm genuinely watching 99% of them for the first time right before I talk to you. I don't know if had you seen anything beyond Hard Ticket to Hawaii? Remind me.
I have not. This is the first time that I've seen most of his filmography. It was just Hard Ticket to Hawaii was the only thing I watched before.
Yeah, I'd seen. I can't remember it. Maybe I had seen more than one, but I don't remember. So, and honestly,
some of them are not very memorable. Let's be real here.
That's the thing. They're starting to all blur together, but
they really are.
I gave a tease at the end of the last episode. I don't have further update on that, except for I will tease it again at the end of this episode. Until then, let's get into it. Let's talk about Hard Hunted. What is this movie about? If you could summarize it in a tweet or less, which you're pretty good at doing.
Whitewash villain is trying to find a jade dragon. Trying to find a piece of jewelry from this blonde woman with big tits. Amazing tits, I will say. She looks amazing.
Yeah. Is this truly an example of whiteface? Is that what, or whitewashing?
Technically it is, because this guy, he's playing Pat Morito's character from the previous film. And I thought, wait, maybe it's just a guy named Kane, but he has the same associate, Silk, who is secretly part of the FBI agency. And then he's wearing the same jewelry she put on he's wearing the same jewelry that Pat Morito was given to track him with that microchip. And I was like, oh my God, this is Pat Morito's character played by a white guy. And not only that, this white guy, the only reason he's in this movie is because he's the son of Sir Roger Moore.
I was going to go there, yeah.
And he's so bad.
What a wild
I think he's the worst villain. I think he's the worst actor out of every villain in this entire film. I feel so bad for the villain who actually came back here, the guy from Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I'm like, I'm so sorry we disparaged you.
Yeah, like Roberto Oberon or whatever his name is.
Yes.
He's better in this movie than he was in any of the other movies where he played the villain and the villain's brother and the villain's brother's cousin or whatever. He kept like there's a run where he kept playing the bad guy, but it was a different bad guy. Most famously, of course, like you said, in Hard Ticket to Hawaii. And then he was like a background player. He was just like a pilot, or he was like captain, or he was just like he's been in almost all of them, if not all of them, after Malibu Express. But now he's back here kind of again as an associate villain. And I thought he was this is his best performance yet in these films.
It is. I actually thought he was the guy who was the friend of the other Abilene in Hard Ticket to Hawaii with the longish hair. And I thought for a second, is that the same guy who's teaching him karate moves and about Zen? It's like, oh no, he's not. This is not the same guy. It's Rodrigo.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, right, is we've had Asian named characters played by white guys. Now we've had a Asian actor play a ethnically open name. Although I would imagine the name Kane probably comes from the Kung Fu TV series. Just thinking. And then Pat Morita did not come back.
No.
And so now we've got, Gregory Peck's son. Not Gregory Peck. Oh, my God.
Roger Moore. Sir Roger Moore.
Roger Moore.
The longest running James Bond.
Yeah, Roger Moore's son returns, or makes his debut. See how my brain is scrambled? to be Pat
It's
Morita.
Watching all these Sedaris films in a row. It just scrambles you after a while.
It really does. Roger Moore's son is now playing Pat Morita.
And he's so bad. It's just like
really
he thinks
terrible.
Because I have a British accent that I can do this. I'm like, no, you can't, RJ Moore. You just can't. You're just not good.
We get our faithful fellowship of DEA, and eventually, and maybe even in this one, they refer to their group as some kind of acronym, which is lethal.
Yeah.
But they established like 5 films over, I feel like, that they were DEA agents. But then we noticed on the last movie, or maybe 2 movies ago, they dropped the DEA. They were just federal agents. They were just government agents, and completely ambiguous. Now they've dropped the name lethal, which is an acronym that I don't know what that acronym stands for. They haven't told us yet. But we get Donna Spear as Donna. One thing interesting about her is, we commented on the spelling. It's 1 N instead of 2. Her character has 2 N. She has 1 N. And it's because she's half Spanish. Her dad was from Spain, I think, she said. And that they was originally supposed to be pronounced Donna. So she's actually like, it is Donna Spear, but because she goes by like an anglicized version of it, but it was really Donna. It was really, that was the intention for her name. We get Roberta Vasquez, who you told me was a real cop at one point in her life, who returns as Nicole, who is the Taryn stand-in. We get Michael J. Shane as Shane Abilene. Again, just to remind the folks at home, this was originally the Abilene film franchise. And basically, since Hard Ticket to Hawaii, they haven't mattered. Bruce Penhall returns as Bruce. Cynthia Brimhall, who is I'm now, I think maybe
as Edie, I'm just like, I don't think Edie is just ever gonna die. She just comes back.
It still hasn't been addressed that she did die in front of us. No, it's not addressed. But I think Cynthia Brimhall may now be like maybe my cinematic crush.
I mean, I can't help but adore her because she just gets, she's just like, I'll do this as long as I get a song.
Well,
Andy. And she sings and she's not bad.
She didn't sing for the first 3 movies, but it does feel like at some point she was like, I'm only coming back if I can do my music.
Yep. If I get a singing, I get a scene where I get to sing, and Andy's like, yes, I will let you do that.
I will do softcore sex scenes as much as you want, but I gotta have at least a song, at least one song. She gets
gotta promote my singles.
Yeah.
It's like when Tim Curry was hired to do those kid movies, and they're just like, oh, we have to have you do a song every single time. Yeah. Like The Worst Switch, he got to sing a song, and it's just, there's no one else sings a song in this movie, but Tim Curry. If you hire Tim Curry, you're going to have him sing a song, and he's going to do it.
Well, there's also Ava Cadell,
Hmm.
who plays Ava.
Yeah.
She plays a radio. Now, this is the first time they have this gimmick in any of these movies. On
Hmm.
Molokai, there's a radio station called KSXEY or something like
Hmm.
that. K Sexy, basically. And
Yeah.
she could give Pandora Peaks, who did not return,
No.
could kind of give her a run for her money. Not
Hmm.
necessarily in size, although they are very voluptuous, but definitely in quality. Whereas
Hmm.
Pandora Peaks had those, well, to quote you, Jugs magazine, just
Yes.
sort of those Jerry Springer style
Yes.
balloons that were just bolted
Hmm.
onto her. These I
Yes.
don't think are natural either, but they are not as bowling ball shaped. They are more
Mm-mm.
natural kind of looking.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah,
I love her entire gimmick is going on the radio and telling fortunes
through
like an
sex.
esoteric bookshop keeper or something like that, or like a tarot
Correct.
reader where it's going to
Like a
read your
witch. She's like
tarots.
she calls it sextrology. It's
Yeah.
astrology.
Mhm.
And she uses sex
Mhm.
and horoscopes to tell fortunes, but the fortunes are also codes to the lethal team so that they can
Mhm.
understand what's going on, which I honestly thought of everything in this movie, that is probably the best addition to the lore of this
Mhm.
series, in a while, where
I do agree.
there's like a Molokai radio station where if you're just listening to it, there's like a sex, not quite therapist, but like a sex show that comes on. It felt like at first it was coming out late at night, but then she just seems to be on
Mhm.
the radio all day
All the
and all
time.
night.
It's just perfect. You're doing this 24 hours. This is perfect.
Right, like it's at night.
This won't mean anything for plot relevant reasons.
Yeah,
Dun
yeah,
dun.
yeah. So it's like that's so strange. I was just like,
Mhm.
so there's just like a kid on Molokai listening to the radio,
Mhm.
and this gigantic breasted woman is breathily talking about like licking
She's got a
taints.
radio voice, I
She
must say. She's
does.
got the one of the best
Yeah.
voices in this entire series.
Would it surprise you that she is like a sex yogi in real life? She has a website where
It
she
would not surprise me at all. And oh my gosh, she's basically just doing this in real life. She got hired to do this in the movie too. Her own
correct. I don't
job.
know what came first. Did the character or the interest? But that she's doing the character or she's doing the sexuology in real life, but she doesn't call it that. She does like esoteric personal sex counseling stuff and yoga
I
and
wonder she should have she should have a TikTok and be on Witch Talk or something like that.
she
And
is.
just
She has social media. At least I don't know if she's
oh,
on TikTok. She's at least on like Instagram. But you can, yeah, she's got all
she's
of her
got to
stuff
get on
there.
TikTok. She'll be so famous if she does that,
She
or at least like
doesn't.
she'll be big on Witch Talk. So
Yeah. She
in
doesn't.
like in New Age TikTok places
She's
like that,
she's
they
in
would
a lot
love
of
her
new
there.
age stuff. Yes, already.
Hmm.
She doesn't look like for 30 years difference. She doesn't look that much different. Like it's kind of remarkable.
Ooh.
Uh, she had like a video line at one point of her and like new age boomer couples like helping them
Mhm.
rekindle their sex life. It was kind of wild.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice. It's like a New Age version of Dr. Ruth.
Kind of, yeah. That's what. Yeah,
Hmm.
kind of, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I would say give me 3 adjectives to describe. Well, I'll go ahead. Give me 3 adjectives to describe this movie.
Hmm.
I was gonna say we could skip it because they're the same adjectives every time. Busty,
I would say
sexual.
for this one, I would say stilted, especially
Oof.
for RJ Moore, or his real name is Jeffrey.
Yes.
Stilted, like the acting felt really stilted in this one for some people compared to the last few entries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Serious,
Yeah. It's
because I was
very
thinking to myself, like,
serious.
I know, I was like, Nicole, why aren't you making a joke like the last one? Like, that was at least corny, but this time she's like, no, I'm super serious. And just like, no comic relief whatsoever. And I was like,
Let me pause there to pick your brain.
Mhm.
Why do you think there's such wild fluctuations between entries in this series is in terms of tone? Because they're all coming from the mind of Andy and sometimes
Mhm.
Arlene Sedaris, right? And Arlene is contributing to all of them. And sometimes some of them are like, we just got off one that had like goofball fake
Mhm.
Cajuns who do return as different characters.
Yes.
Assassins doing
Mhm.
corn poke
Mhm.
backwoods
There were no
humor
ninjas in this one.
and ninjas and massive
None.
explosions. And there's some
Mhm.
explosions in this one. And then
There's
you
some
go,
explosions, but not as massive.
no, and then you go to the next one and it's like a Picasso Trigger or a Hard Hunted,
Yeah.
where it's
Mhm.
kind of taking itself more serious. It's just a more
Mhm.
serious espionage film. Why?
Maybe it's taken a lot of hints from the newer James Bond because I think the Timothy Dalton ones came out around the same time, and those were criticized for being very serious. Which now we see that with Sam and what not Sam Mendes.
No, yeah, Sam Mendes did the first one.
Why am I
Yeah,
why am I blanking on his name?
Daniel
He's
Craig?
one of the hottest. Yeah, Daniel Craig's version. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was about to say Rachel Weisz's husband. Hey, she is a gorgeous woman.
She is. Yeah.
Yes. And that was why, and maybe Andy Sidaris did like the Timothy Dalton ones and said, I want my film to be more like that. Because I think that's always been his goal. He's wanted to make a film like James Bond. He had them reference it several times.
Yeah.
He got the son of Roger Moore to play the villain in this film.
Good point.
And in the sequel. Apparently he's in the sequel, which we have not seen yet, or at least I haven't.
I haven't seen it either. No, I'm watching them one at a time in sync with
Yes.
you. Yeah, that's a really good point. It feels like, I mean, I know I'm like straining at gnats here, but you never know. Okay, that's not true. You know, to some extent, when you put one of these movies in, so to speak, you know that you're going to get boobs, but you don't really know how sexual they're going to be. It could be, there's some boobs and whatever, but it's there's mostly focused on explosions and comedy, broad, almost Looney Tunes kind of comedy. And then you could put another one in, and it's definitely more serious and definitely more Skinamax, like soft core, longer sex scenes, simulated sex. You know, I would, more. I don't. It's not quite pornographic, but get approaching porn, and then you get another one, and it's a lot of comedy, but also still pornographic. Then you get another one that's real serious, but there's hardly any nudity. Like it's just sort of consistently inconsistent as a film franchise. Strange. It's strange, I think.
Yeah.
Because they're it's not like there's 5 years in between them, and he's filming these things back to back to back.
Yeah.
Same people, same crews. There's only been one or two times so far where there's been a gap between them. Same leads, same supporting cast. Maybe a few of the actors are switching roles here or there, and playing a different character. But it's, and I think we got a different Lucas in this one than the previous Lucases, who's like the head of Lethal or whatever. I think he's a different actor. But still, like for the most part, it's going to be in Hawaii or Las Vegas or some adjacent place. Why is this one so much more deadly, almost self-serious?
I almost think it's because it's rushed. It really felt rushed with this one, that they were trying to get this out as quickly as possible, which is jarring to me because I'm just thinking to myself, why do you need to rush this, Andy? Why do you need to keep going so fast with this, especially since you had to hire someone else to play Kane?
Yeah.
And I think it's a part of that.
I wonder, and this is an answer I hope we can find. Okay. I wonder if they didn't have like a contracted deal where they had to produce, because these are definitely self-financed, right? Malibu Bay Films is the only production company that ever gets named in any of them, right? They're self-financed, self-owned, independent features. The first couple, I think, had limited theatrical release. I think the one they shot for the biggest was Hard Ticket to Hawaii, because you can even find, like, I would struggle to call it a press junket, but you can find like where they did press interviews to try to promote the movie in theaters. And the other ones I believe were straight to video and then straight to cable. Part of me wonders, did they have like a deal with Cinemax where maybe Cinemax or something like that was, hey, we'll kick you some money for production, but we need one of these a year, right? Like we need and so he just was on a production deal where they're not named on it or whatever, but he's getting some kind of revenue that he needs. And so he's almost like unofficially contractually obligated to keep them coming out on a yearly basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that might be part of that. It's not a bad theory. It's just a conjecture though. So
yeah, sure. I'm hoping we get the answer to it though. And it may just be like he just, you know, this is more conjecture, and again, I hope I get the answer to this, but it feels like with the first film, Malibu Express, he creates a character. It's very much like you were saying. It feels like he was trying to create his own James Bond, but of the Smokey and the Bandit kind of variety. Magnum PI meets James Bond meets Smokey and the Bandit. Like it's just a lot of things that were in the cultural zeitgeist, kind of for men, right? Of like this is like fast cars and races and broad comedy and sex and boobs and whatnot, right? And for one reason or another, that movie didn't set the world on fire, and it felt like okay, there's a pivot by the time we get to Hard Ticket to Hawaii, and we've figured out like okay, well these two women are going to be the main character. Like if it's going to be a TNA film, the main character should be two big-titted women.
Yes.
Yeah. And then obviously Arlene's influence is like, well let's make them actual characters instead of just jacuzzi bimbos. Okay. But then it still feels almost like Andy is at war with himself of like it feels like he wants to make legitimate, not that these are illegitimate, but that he wants to make a straight movie, like a straight action movie, spy thriller. Like that's what he's actually interested in. But he knows that what makes these movies commercial is the sex appeal and the exploitation, the tawdriness of them. But he's not that interested in that, really.
No.
It doesn't seem like. And but he knows he's got to put it in. And so it's like a guy who is I don't overthink hard on it, but it feels like a guy, his filmography feels like a guy who's kind of at war with himself. Like we
have to overthink about this because no one else has. No one's ever written a book about the production of Andy Sidaris'
I don't think
work,
so.
And nobody is planning to. So we have to.
But you know what I mean? Doesn't it, like, do you think I'm crazy, or do you see what I see? Where it's like, this feels like a guy
I can see that. I really do. It almost does seem. It's like I was even bringing up that it's just like disinterested sensuality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I have to do this because I'm contracted to put these babes in there. But what I really love are explosions and car chases and boat chases and that stuff.
He likes vehicles.
So he's like, I gotta have that.
He wants all kind of different vehicles, right? He likes helicopters and boats and motorcycles and let's be real.
He does love boobs, but I don't think he loves them as much as he does the explosions.
I'm not saying, oh well, woe is me, I have to hire a bunch of penthouse pets with triple F
Playboy bunnies
tits to run around nude all around me and put something.
I feel like he and Mel Brooks would have really gotten along.
Yeah,
especially since Mel Brooks during his later career really loved hiring Playboy bunnies to play extras or other side characters in the movies. It's just,
I understand that impulse. I understand it. We have talked about.
We discussed Malibu Express. The one who played the secretary in Blazing Saddles was the maid in that movie.
You and I have talked about this before. We're both fans of big-breasted women.
Yes.
So that there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, we like busty broads, but the point is that, like, it feels like there are times where Andy, I mean, again, I don't want to psychologize the guy, but it feels like he wants to make other types of movies, but this is what's paying the bills.
Yep.
And because he's self-financing it, he's, some of them, he's probably making a good amount of money, especially in that middle run in the 80s, because the home video market.
Oh, yes. Cinemax, this stuff, it was huge.
Huge. So he's probably making like around the time of Hard Ticket to Hawaii, probably some really good money. But by the time we're getting into the 90s, which is where we are with Hard Hunted, there's such an overflow, an overabundance, an overproduction of straight to video action movies and pornos and softcore movies, and like he hit at just the right time where there was new mediums but not enough content. And by 1991, 92, 93, kind of this era of his career, there's a shit ton of straight to video content that's out there. And the major studios are starting to produce. Even Disney is starting to produce straight to video content. And so the independent guy who was able to fill in those gaps in the consumer market starts to get squeezed out a little bit. By within a couple of years, Miramax is going to be doing straight to video stuff through Dimension. So that's the Weinsteins. So and then it's going to get completely legitimized where you're going to have Touchstone and Disney, and Touchstone is Disney, I know, but that imprint, and you're going to have others that are
which
just
has
going to
been dismantled, which makes me very,
very sad.
Like, why Disney? Why you don't have to keep making movies under your own label? You can make adult movies like rated R films under a different label. You don't have to make it under the Disney umbrella.
I think that's what Fox is now, though. Sadly.
I guess that's exactly what that is with Fox and Searchlight Pictures, I think.
Yeah, Fox Searchlight.
I think they do own Searchlight.
They do,
Pictures now. Yeah, that's right.
So
it's not called Fox anymore. It's just called
Fox
it's just called 20th Century
Studios.
Studios.
That's it. Yeah, you're right. 20th Century Studios. Yeah. Well, to get back to this, the plot here, Molly, is Kane, who is now a white guy, wants to sell a Chinese nuclear trigger to some vague Middle Eastern anybody. I think
they hint it's like it's a Middle Eastern country now or something like that instead. Because Gulf War. Communism is down. The Berlin Wall fell in 1991, I think, or 1989, and then 1989 the Berlin Wall fell, and then the Soviet Union dissolved in 1991.
There you go.
Okay. I know some history. I remember some.
We're heading into the Gulf War during this time, so now our focus is our attention is focused on the Middle East. And so,
George H.W. Bush sent us into the Gulf War. Because Iraq invaded Kuwait, and so we got ourselves in there for no reason. Well, it's usually always to fight against. It's usually always a proxy war.
Correct. So there's another agent who is attaché on Kane's boat who has a threesome with Silk, who is a double agent who's now working with Lethal. They both fuck Kane's brains out. And then Jane is able... No, wait. Who's the agent? Whatever. One of them is able to steal the Jade Buddha that contains the Chinese nuclear trigger that they want to get to the Middle East for Kane. The Kane wants to sell, and then
guy got fucked so well he completely lost his He completely lost his jewel.
That's correct. Yes, she then escapes with the Jade Buddha. The Jade Buddha. She's running to meet Donna and Nicole, who are in Arizona, in Sedona of all places, some more new age witchcraft.
I was like, when they said Arizona, I was like, Arizona? What's in Arizona? There's nothing.
Sedona, where white women go to cleanse. Al Long returns, Mr. Diehard, Mr. That Guy, Bad Guy himself. He's been in a couple of these movies. In a tiny helicopter, which is mostly an RC that we see. And then it's just a cut to an interior or a cockpit shot where it's very clearly he's not flying anything. And this gives me some of my favorite scenes. Mika is her name.
Mika.
And some of my favorite quotes. One of the Lucas says, "I have an agent in the area." No, it's Kane. Kane says, "I have an agent in the area." Because they're like, "How are we going to find Mika? How are we going to get the Jade trigger back?" Okay, and he's like, "I have an agent in the area. He's reliable. He's Asian." And then there's another one which maybe from later in the movie. I don't know, because when we're finished with her, she'll be singing the song.
Oh,
of
the
death.
80s racism still has not ended yet.
Nope. When we're finished with her, she'll be singing the song of death, and Lucas will be cheering her on from hell. Anyway, so Mika gets gunned down by Al in the helicopter, and she had
They said he was reliable.
so many squibs. She just bursts into a hail of gunfire.
I know. I was like, damn it, Andy. Did you watch The Godfather a little too much? And just like.
We don't get a lot of squibs in these movies. Pantera, who was Nicole, got one very early.
Or Bonnie and Clyde climax after the film.
Yeah, she gets fucked up. And hilariously, Nicole goes, "Is she all right?" And Donna goes, "With
all these bullet wounds in her chest."
She's face first in the dirt. And Donna goes, "Hold on, honey. We'll get you out of here." Here. Checks her. "Donna, is Mika okay?" And Donna goes, "No, she's dead.
She's dead.
She's been dead for 5 minutes. She fell to the ground dead. She has not moved. Her face is pressed into the dirt.
Nope.
No, she's not okay.
No, she's not.
A helicopter turned her into a hamburger in front of you like Platoon. What the fuck are you talking about?
The Godfather was only missing was somebody who would just go to Sonny and just like, and Don Corleone just go like, "Is he okay?"
That's exactly right. Yeah, like the only person who has got shot more on screen is Sonny the Godfather. Like he was eviscerated. They massacred my Mika.
Yes. Look how they massacred my Mika.
We should say that Donna and Nicole do not show up in this movie for the first 16 minutes.
They don't.
And then they're doing like stretching nude yoga, basically in the sun. And then
in Arizona, because they just can't do it in Hawaii. They have to do it in Arizona.
I guess if you live on Molokai all the time and all of the kingpins and drug lords and mercenaries who are out to get you, and they all know your identity because you don't have secret identity. So in that way, they're like,
you're like James Bond. You have no secret identity. Yeah.
If everybody keeps coming to Molokai to kill you, is it really paradise anymore? I think you have to go to somewhere where people are not like Scottsdale, where people are not going to find you. They're not going to fuck around with you.
No.
Yeah. So then somewhere along the way, because this movie feels very stretched out. It's only an hour and 35 minutes.
37 minutes.
37 minutes. And it is brutally long. I was so
It really
bored.
did feel that way.
Because it isn't until like an hour into the movie that Donna gets amnesia. And I'm like, that feels like that should be the plot. That Donna because this is a direct continuation. This picks up from the end of Do or Die. Why, if it picks up immediately after Do or Die, why are Don and Nicole not in it for 15 minutes while we follow these other characters who one of whom is going to die? Like, I don't understand. Why don't we just
maybe the actresses needed a break, just a little break.
I guess, but just like, why don't you pick up where you left off? Donna, the twist of this one is that because these movies have gimmicks. The gimmick of this one, by the way, none of this dissuades my theory that this is where the Fast and Furious series has directly got its ideas, because we have characters who come back from the dead. We've got the ever-growing family of super agents who started off as just simple DEA agents. We've got amnesia, evil twins. We got all kind of shit. So if Donna is going to get amnesia, I would give that to her in the first act, right? And then the second act is about her fucking this double agent who's convinced her that they were actually lovers, but they weren't. Cole or whatever his name is. And that's another
it's
great
actually
line.
assaulting her, basically, because that is actually a form of sexual coercion.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. Yes. The movie laughs over it with a joke, which is
I was faking it.
She goes, "We were never lovers. I faked my orgasms." That doesn't make sense, though. Okay.
No.
Because he's like, this guy who's a double agent who betrayed them, right? He's working for Kane, but they think he's on their side. He fucked them over, and led to Donna's capture, and then in the Melu, she got amnesia.
Yeah. Because she hit her head, because that's how it easily happens.
Correct. She hits her head on a rock, and she has amnesia, and they fly her away in a helicopter. Okay. They start screwing.
Yep.
And start kissing before they screw.
Yep.
And while they're kissing, he's like, "Does that bring back anything?" And she's like, no, but it felt good. And so they start kissing some more, and then they have sex at least once or twice, and we watch it. And then when she gets the call from Ava on the radio, and it finally
she
triggers
just
her memory,
turns the radio on, and Ava is just magically saying
hey Blondie,
stuff.
we're still looking for you or whatever.
Yeah.
Her memory comes back to her, and when her memory comes back to her,
and he lets her keep her fanny pack that has her ID with her badge.
Yes. So she checks her ID, and it all comes back, and then she's like, "We were never lovers." And he's like, "Oh well, blah blah blah." And then she's like, "I faked my orgasms." The idea there is that she knew he was a traitor, and so she faked her orgasms. But we know she didn't know he was a traitor, and she earlier said it felt good. Right? So that line is
the
funny,
kissing felt good. She didn't say the sex felt good.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and a lot of women do fake their orgasms. Let's be real here. A lot of guys do not know how to actually please women as much as they should be.
It's true. It's true. That whole thing was just sort of odd because it is kind of a Wonder Woman,
and it's just so skeevy to me because he's like, he didn't even have to say we were lovers. He didn't even have to do that. He's like, I wanted to bang you, and you're like, oh my god, this is a rapist right here. We're dealing with right there.
He immediately gets macheted and killed.
Yeah,
and then he's dead. He's out of the picture.
Just left her with the weapon, just right there. He had the coconuts, and he brought the machete, just like put it right there.
Yeah,
and barely reacts when she stabs him, just like, oh,
like, yeah. And then
he's pretty self-disposing guy.
Heather is here. Hello, checking in late, but happy to be here. We're happy to have you, Heather. I don't remember how this movie ends. How does it end, Molly? So
the guy actually, they give him the jade back. Well, the reliable agent, and they're just like, why do you want a stupid jade for? She's like, it's not what the jade, it's what's inside it, and it's the clicker thing for the nuclear weapon. And they just start walking away from them. And then Kane's like, why did you let them live? Just like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Well, you have to go do it now. And so he goes back to kill them. And Dawn is able to get away and actually find a bazooka gun on the beach that they left behind there and actually shoots the helicopter down with the trigger.
Yeah.
So the trigger's gone.
So which is why I'm like, wait, why is there a one?
Yeah, I'm just like, what are they doing with the next one then, since the trigger's already gone?
This is what, like, I gave them some praise last time around of like, oh, they finally learned not to kill the bad guy, because if you're just going to bring the same, if you're just going to continue these plots movie to movie, maybe the bad of guy, the boss of bosses should continue from movie to movie, right?
Yeah.
And then they immediately blow out of the water what I say. I mean, Kane lives, but the MacGuffin of this movie is completely destroyed. Now, the other thing too is the plot of the original, the previous film, not the original, but Do or Die, was I'm saying 6 teams of assassins to kill you, and if you win the game, and I'll try to kill you myself, and if I can't kill you, I'll tell you what I'm really up to. That is completely dropped. There's no even mention of him sending assassins to try to kill them just days previous.
Yeah, no.
So,
which is why I was like, okay, is this a different Kane? Is this the? And then I see Silk with him, like, no, is this no? And then I see that, oh yeah, they mentioned they brought the microchip as I brought previously earlier. Like,
yes,
oh gosh, it is the same Kane. They replaced him with a white actor. Oh my god!
But he has a completely different plan. He's got a different
and he's
evil
British.
scheme, and he's British.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like we said, he's not George Lazenby. Which son is he? which Bond son is he? We said it 5 times.
Roger Moore, Sir Roger Moore's son.
I can't retain anything. Yeah, Joffrey Moore or whatever. And then
Jeffrey Moore, but he went by R.J. Moore in this one, which is weird to me.
R.J. Roger Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's Roger.
That's
Jeffrey
exactly what it is. I think that's exactly what it's supposed to be. Roger Moore, right there.
Yeah, you're trying to trick it into. Heather,
I thought it was with that gun that
maybe she's alluding because she's seen all these movies, so maybe she's alluding to it's not actually destroyed. I don't know, man. This is another well, I think I've made my overall impressions very clear, which is I did not enjoy this one as much.
No.
There's a lot of soft lit Vaseline on the lens sex scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot. We're now into this really feels like Skinamax. This really feels like, and like I was saying earlier, and this is just my theory, this is just my conjecture, but as there was a growing abundance of straight to video material for home video and straight to video material for premium channels, the movie channels, Cinemax, the movie channel, so forth and so on. It feels like with everything else, like he kind of has to up the ante, and it feels like we're upping the sex ante, so to speak, where it's like it's not enough to just have boobs. We now have to have full blown sex stuff. And now we're moving. Now we're grooving towards like real softcore erotica. A lot of it in this movie. And then we get something that's been a staple of the last half dozen of these, which is he'll do like back-to-back sex scenes. It's like he doesn't like this movie's not paced well, which is saying something because none of them are paced great. But this one is like, why are Donna and Nicole not in the first 15 minutes? Why does Donna not get amnesia until more than halfway through the film? Why when we finally get sex scenes, why are they back to back to back? Why is there no mention whatsoever? Like everybody else got killed, Abe got killed, this person got killed, that person got killed. I understand. Where is Pandora Peaks? I'm asking the real question.
Maybe she found herself with Russ Meyer. Then just like I am going with the better porno man, sir, Mr. Myers.
Well, okay, now you're my academic. Is Russ Meyer a pornographer? Or is he just under the blanket umbrella term of an exploitation auteur?
I think he's mostly under the blanket term of an exploitation filmmaker, but he definitely loved boobs on women. He definitely loved that. But so did Fellini, but Fellini was considered art house, so.
Right, and so do you, but you're not considered a pornographer.
No.
That I know of.
I mean, I got my Federico Fellini poster right here. Didn't mean to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Like it's like, so loving boobs doesn't make you a pornographer.
No.
Yeah. Because otherwise, like Baywatch would have been pornography, right? So
some people would argue it is, which is
those people are fundamentalists, Molly. Of some type or another.
It was the poor man's porn. I mean, they did in slow motion. You couldn't do that.
Jiggle TV. Yeah, it was a poor man's porn. It was like if you get tired of jerking it to scrambled porn, you can jerk it into slow motion syndicated television.
Yep.
Or flick it, equal opportunity masturbation. Is Andy Sidaris a pornographer?
No.
So you're quicker on that for Sedaris than you are on mine.
Well, the thing I have to question is, does it turn me on? And for the most part, no.
Ooh.
Which is
Is that your definition of what is so?
I mean, I remember reading Linda Williams' book Hardcore a bit, and it was discussing about pornography and horror films as also forms of body films, because they're films that leave a visceral experience for the audience viewer more than other genres do. Like horrors will send chills down your spine. It can make you throw up, especially if if really gruesome. While erotica and pornography will arouse you. It'll make your face heat up. It'll do all this stuff. And so they are technically forms of body films. And I think Andy Sidaris has not really gotten to that point for me. I mean, the last film was pretty damn close, I will say.
That last one.
I think that's more of Arlene's take than it was for Andy.
Yeah. Lord willing, we're going to find out. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily consider him a pornographer either. I almost kind of consider him more of like opportunist.
I can see that.
Like him and Arlene. Again, don't know. Hope to be able to discuss this with her at length in a respectful way. But they strike me as capitalists. Right?
Oh, they definitely are.
Right? Like there's something like I think he or she or they both legitimate like spy movies, fast vehicles of various types.
Yep.
And beautiful women. But I also think that they recognize that if we like these things, a lot of other people do too. And we could put them together in a package and deliver them to people. And we can do what James Bond can't do, right? Because like James Bond can be very lewd euphemistically, you know, which obviously was parodied and lampooned by Austin Powers and Woody Allen and others, you know, right? So a lot of pachina, you know, you can like have I wanna hump a lot, and you can have those are not that far off from those characters' real names, you know what I mean? Octopussy, for God's sakes.
Pussy Galore is probably the best example.
Yes, Pussy Galore. Yeah.
Who was originally a lesbian, and then James Bond raped her into becoming a heterosexual. So, yeah. But it's just like being a lesbian and having the name Pussy Galore is just like layers right there.
Yes. But yes, so you have a character called Pussy Galore, and but you're not going to see vagina.
No, you're not going to see areolas. You're not going to see that.
Nipples. You're not going to see bare. Yeah. You may see the curvature.
You may see James Bond's bare nipples, but you're not going to see the girls.
Correct. And so he's able.
You may see a side butt or something like that, especially in the Sean Connery series.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you may get some side butt, but or whatever, or you see some sheer silk sheets on a bed that leave very little of the imagination, but still it's going to be covering it up, right? And and Sedaris is very much that opportunist that goes, ooh, that leaves space in the market. Men want explosions, they want all the James Bond shit, but they also want to see boobs. Basically, this is a penthouse James Bond.
It basically is, yeah.
Yeah. Not Hustler or something real hardcore or something like that, but it's definitely like a penthouse James Bond. And like we've said before, I think like as much as he personally loves probably thoroughly enjoyed being surrounded by a bevy of beautiful buxom broads, I think he also tires of it as a filmmaker sometimes.
Yeah.
I think he had aspirations that were maybe a beyond his abilities and or beyond his finances.
Yeah.
And you know, as he isn't, because I know there are people who have much larger IMDb's than him, but for his era, it almost feels like to me that he may be the most prolific independent filmmaker of the 1980s. Like,
he's up there. He's got to be up there with how, like, his work ethic is just like movie after movie after movie after movie. I was like, oh my gosh. And his explosions, like,
yeah. I don't know. How does he have time to edit this stuff? How does he, like, I don't know. I know, like, he has crews and there are other people that help him, but he is very much he's very much involved in Arlene as well. They're doing all of this themselves and financing it themselves with their own label. And again, my theory is maybe they were getting some kickbacks from like a Cinemax or something to help cover costs or whatever. But I don't know. It's just he's such a fascinating character because here's what I would say. A couple of years ago, I did the first Emmanuel film. I'm sure you've seen the very original Emmanuel.
I have seen it, the original. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen it with the addition of the Thai or the Vietnamese woman scene, or Thai woman? It's Vietnamese woman scene. The cigarette in the vagina.
Yeah.
Where she's like they shot it after the fact and the producer stuck it in the movie and the director.
Oh. Kind of like the Tinto Bass version of what he did with Caligula after.
Yes.
Yeah, he just had these random scenes of sex scenes of people from penthouse models and people like that doing that, which were some of those boring scenes in the movie. I was just like, okay, these girls are watching this guy fuck another girl and they're touching themselves. Okay, and they're tonguing each other. Okay, I'm bored. Can we get to something else? I got so bored during that movie just watching the copious amounts of sex scenes, and I was like, God, is this over? An hour and a half left! No! I have not seen the ultimate cut. I've heard that one. The editor actually got into a little beef with me because I brought up this review of it, and then he said, like, I think this critic should actually have watched it and actually understand all the hard work we've done. And I was like, oh my God, the editor of the ultimate cut of Caligula is trying to beef with this critic's review that I brought in. I was like, oh, sorry.
Well, yeah, don't piss off Andy Sidaris' editor, Molly. We got to get
no.
So, like, anyways, the point I was trying to make with Emmanuel is I find that to be more lewd than, like, there are moments.
It's also French too, so I feel like they just got the lewdness in there because they don't have as many hangups as Americans do.
Yeah, but you would almost feel that makes it less lewd because of the libertine nature of it. But the Emmanuel movie, it's something very lewd about it. There's something very, I think it's partly because in that movie, she is eventually depicted as somebody who, if she's willing, it's only through manipulation and or like some kind of mental illness. Like and at some point they sort of break her as a person. Because like the plot there is like, she wants to sexually explore, but when she gets married, for the most part, she's like, oh, I just want to, a monogamous relationship. And he's like, no, you're here with, the wealthy, and that's not how it works here. We all have sex with each other. And she's just like, but why can't it just be us? Oh, no.
We should have discussed this before we got married, that I married a swinger.
You have to learn from these Thai people. These Thai people will fuck anything, and you have to be like them. Here's the gardener. He's going to fuck you now in front of me. It gets weird. It's gross. So
I wonder how the remake is with Nomi Milan.
Where is that? Where is that going to?
I know it's been on the film festival circuit, but I'm not sure if it's been picked up for distribution. For distribution. I mean, I want to watch it because I do really like Nomi Milan.
But where will you be able to see it? Mubi? That's probably it.
That's probably exactly where it would be.
Yeah. That's to me is like, why remake this? I don't understand, but maybe I'm wrong. You're my field reporter.
I mean, I'm one of those people who's like, why re-edit Caligula? Why keep trying with this movie? It's bad, but some people like it. So some people like the original. Some people like this ultimate cut. So
Should we do a re-edit of Hard Hunted? And give
We
it...
need more footage, though. I feel like some footage would actually help bring that out, and then we could cut out some other stuff. So just...
What would you cut out of this movie? I think I would cut the first 15 minutes down to like 5 minutes.
Any scene with RJ Moore, just like,
Whoa!
except for like the important stuff. He got way too many scenes now. Just like, you're just so boring, dude.
That's my overall impression of the movie, though. I feel like this movie
bored.
It has zero charm. It's overly serious and poorly paced. I give it a 1 out of 5. What would you give Hard Hunted?
That's exactly the same thing I had. 1.5 out of 5 stars.
You gave it a 0.5 higher than me. What's that 0.5 for? You mentioned somebody's breasts were very nice. Who? I did
like the tarot. I did like the the tarot stuff on the radio. I was like, okay, this is actually really cool.
Does she show her boobs, Ava?
Yeah, I think she does in a hot tub.
Oh, yes, she does in a hot tub.
Yep, the hot tub.
She's broadcasting from the hot tub at one point. I'm like,
yes, she is. She's just right in that hot tub with the microphone, just like right there. Like, don't drop that microphone.
Oh my god! Yeah, like she's doing a sex astrology show 24/7 on this radio station.
She's like, she's got to get bathing sometime.
At some point, she's just in a hot tub.
She is so dedicated to her job.
Oh my god! Yeah, you're right. I don't know. This one's not good. I didn't care for this one.
No.
The only moment of levity is when the assassins show back up, and then they get blown up. I don't know, man. It just wasn't. It just wasn't as good. Wasn't as funny. Wasn't as interesting. No. That leaves us with just one more, which I don't know what it is. I don't even know what the one that's left is called. Is it Fit to Kill?
I think it is, but let me try. Like IMDb described as like he is an amazing combo of respectful and quote boobies I've ever seen. Like, oh, thanks, Andy.
Yeah, it's the conflict. I think
I know. It's the conflict within him.
That's right. Andy, I sense the conflict within you. Let go of your hate.
Yes. Fit to kill. That's what it is.
All right.
Yep.
And you're telling me that not George Lazenby's, Roger Moore's son is in this one as well, the next one?
Yes, he's in the next one, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Is this the final?
I'm just like, does he have a better haircut? No, he doesn't. His hair still looks bad.
Well, they probably filmed him at the same time.
It's like barely even like it's like they tried like putting it down, but it's too poofy. So he's got like this mullet sort of look going on in the back.
Yeah. So Donna Spear, I'm gonna get into her IMDb here in a second before we wrap this one up. She has a book out which is called The Naked Truth: The Fall and Rise of Donna Spear. I've mentioned it previous in the show. That's where she talks about her career and her life and her drug abuse and so forth and so on. And I've tried reaching out to her to no avail. I have reached out to, let me see here. Is she really? Oh, that's the wrong one. I have spoken with, corresponded with, and had a brief phone interaction with Arlene Sedaris. And she has tentatively agreed to do some kind of a conversation with us. It's just a matter of lining it up. I cannot promise when. I highly doubt it will be before next week. But I put it out into the universe, and the universe said, love, happiness, no. Arlene Sidaris, yes.
Yes.
So it is probably maybe going to happen. I don't believe anything until it happens, but we are on our way. That's right. Okay. I had this in my head, and I believe this to be correct. These movies will continue But Donna Hamilton, aka Donna Spear, her final appearance is in Fit to Kill. So this is the
Oh,
final Donna film. Now I think eventually we're getting into like the lethal series, which is
yeah.
which I don't know if we're going to continue on. We'll have to talk about it and do it. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a Big Titty Christmas or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
But,
Yes.
yeah, this one's not very good. Are you looking forward to the final one? I know we're both looking forward to the possibility of talking with Arlene together in real life and getting all of these questions and conjectures answered. She's a very feisty, very I mean that in a very complimentary way. She's a
Mm-hmm.
very integral to these movies' viability as commercial properties. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited at the prospect of being able to talk to her. I think she can fill in a lot of the blanks.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
that aside, are you excited for the last one, or after this, are you kind of feeling kind of down about it?
I do feel a little down, but down that I know it's Donna's last film, just like, oh, I hope it's good for her. Because she's been in so many. Like, she was here from Hard Ticket to Hawaii all the way up to here. And you're just,
Was there one
oh,
between
man.
Malibu Express and Hard Ticket to Hawaii? There was one between, right? Or
Oh, there
no?
was.
Was
Yeah.
there one?
I think so. Let me double check.
Maybe there wasn't. Okay, I think it was Malibu Express, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Picasso
Yeah,
Tour.
it was Malibu Express and Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Yeah.
So Hard Ticket's the second one.
Yeah.
Heather says every Christmas is Big Titty Christmas in my house. Oh my god.
Oh. And it was her last movie too. Donna Spear's last movie. Yeah.
It's her last film, period. Yes, that was to drop that bomb on you. That's her final film appearance. Was all the way back in 1993. So I am going to continue the conversation with Mrs. Sedaris. I'm very excited. I really, really look forward to. I want to make that happen. I think it's just going to be getting schedules aligned. But I'm still going to try to track down Pandora Peaks or Donna Spear, or who we probably could reach out to is Ava.
We could.
Since she is out there, and she could talk about her business and her sextrology and her sex yoga and all that stuff. So let's just put out in the universe. Molly and I are open for business to any large-breasted women who want to come on and talk to us.
Yes. Yes.
My goal, Molly, I told you, is to get your passport, have you come up to TIFF, and because it's only a few hours away from me. It will be very far for you, but it's a few hours away from me. We missed it this year, and then me and you are just going to go film nerd hunting for the most hyper mammalian film nerd girls. The Sedaris son was in these. Oh yeah, he was.
Wasn't he also director? Because there's other film that Bruce Penhall did with the Sedaris. Was that Andy's son?
Is he Roger Sedaris or Ricky Sedaris? Something.
I think so. I'm trying to think.
Sedaris. All right,
But yeah, but Bruce Penhall was in a lot of these Sedaris films. So
yeah.
Acting.
I would say I think I could bet that the ones that we liked. Yeah, see, Arlene didn't write. It's not even. She has no credit on this one as far as a writer. So we have come up with a theory that if Arlene, she produced it. So yeah, so that's what you're missing here is you're missing her touch.
Oh, Christian Drew. Oh, Christian Drew Sedaris. Yeah, okay, he is the son. I was wondering because I saw this Enemy Gold 1993 that Bruce Penhall is starring in. I was like, which Sedaris is this? Because it doesn't say who his dad is. was like, okay, that is his son
Ah.
right there because he was the stunt coordinator. Okay, that makes sense.
You know what? We don't. He directed Christian Drew Sedaris directed the Dallas Connection.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to eventually, when we do this again, drop into and that's a Julie Strain film. Drew.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Julie Strain. Do you know who Julie Strain is?
No, I do not.
She passed away, unfortunately. Maybe one of the hottest people who has ever lived. I say that as a 1990s teenage boy when she was in her
She
peak.
was in Heavy Metal 2000. That's right.
Correct. Yes.
Yes.
I know her from.
She's 6'1".
Yes. Yes. She was in Beverly Hills Cop 3. She was also in Bear Wench, the final chapter.
Oh.
But no, I know her from. She was in this movie called. I'll be able to find it here in a second. It was early 2000s, late 2000s. It aired in the Sci-Fi Channel consistently. She was on a show that I only listened to in scrambled format called Sex Court, which aired in the Playboy Channel. I'm revealing too much about myself. This is what it was like to be a boy in the 2000s. Oh God, what is it? It was like howtomakeamonster.com or something like that. Where is it? I know she's in a movie called Heavenly Hooters. I know that Heather has seen the movie I'm talking about. It's about a group of. It's basically weird science. But they end up producing a woman. She's like a video game character who ends up through a freak accident coming to life. But the monster from the video game comes to life as well. And she has to protect these like sexless movie nerds against the monster that they created. She's like she's like the sexy Viking hero sort of character. But it's sort of like meta because she comes out and is like, why am I in this skimpy leather outfit? This isn't practical to fight monsters. Like, so she comments on their shit. God, I'm not getting off here until I find it. It's not lingerie kickboxer. It's like a 2000, 2001 sort of movie. So right around the time she did Heavy Metal 2000.
Yeah.
She's in a movie called You've Got Female instead of You. It's not .com for murder. What the hell is it? Heather, you got to know what I'm talking about.
Like, help us out here.
I have not seen the Bear Wench Project.
I have not either.
I think that's her. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't Julie Strain, but I'm fairly certain. It used to be on the Sci-Fi Channel all the time. It's seriously called like How to Build a Monster or something like that. She was also in Naked Gun 33 1/3 and Beverly Hills Cop 3. Sorceress, Victim of Desire, Playtime, Young Blood, Fresh Meat, Red Line, Virtual Desire. Now these are right. Night Visions, Big Sister 2000, Married People, Single Sex, Johnny Mnemonic.
The only thing I'm getting for How to Make a Monster is the 1958 one.
Hollywood the Movie, Hey Hey, It's the Monkeys, Busted, Bikini Hotel, Gun of El Chupacabra, Sorceress 2, The Temptress, Lethal Seduction, Hollywood Scene, St. Patrick's Day, The Last.
Well, now that I know she's in the last one, I'm actually excited.
Hollywood Cops, Heavenly Hooters, Lethal Ladies. Lethal Ladies is what we start getting into. She plays Widow Black in that one. Desirable Liaisons, Masseuse 3, Bloodthirsty, Barefoot Superstar, Babe Watch Biker Babes, Wasteland Justice, Heavy Metal 2000. Is it missing from her IMDb? or did I make it up? 2001, How to Make a Monster. Where the fuck is it? On her IMDb. It's not on here.
Maybe it never. Maybe they all tried to erase it and it just doesn't exist anymore.
How to Make
It
a
was
Monster.
just something we made up.
2001. And Clea Duvall is in it.
Ooh.
Colleen Camp. Julie Strain. She plays Julie in it. I believe Julie is like the model that they used. Like they scanned her body. That's it. I think she shows up and these nerds hire her because they're like in love with her. And she's in this motion cap suit, this mocap contraption.
Oh.
And I think she gets struck by lightning and maybe her body reanimates as a monster. I don't know. It's something like that. And then like Clea Duvall plays like a homely, in quotes, she's working as part of the video game team and rolling her eyes at all these horny boys, you know, and their misogyny. And she has to fight against the monster. I'm sure you've seen that, Heather. I know that you've seen it. But yeah, it doesn't.
Clea Duvall is in it.
Yeah.
Of course, I get excited when the actual lesbian shows up. Who's in it?
Colleen Camp from Clue is in it, and Tyler Main is in it. So yeah, it's a strange little movie, but that's not the one that we're going to be talking about. But the next one coming up for us is Fit to Kill, which Julie Strain, the late great Julie Strain, will be in. And also it was the final film so far in the career of Donna Spear. At this point, you and I have seen probably 70% of her filmography, I would imagine.
Yeah.
we'll check the letterbox afterwards. So
yeah, just about. Mostly everything else before that is like cameos or small roles. And you're like, okay, not starring roles.
No. Of course, it's a ridiculous movie, so I saw it. Heather has seen How to Make a Monster. It was on cable all the time. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us and watching on demand at YouTube. And subscribe to the show. Molly, we're not subscribing to binge movies and watching our live streams, talking about people who get ever so close to being pornographers. Where can they find you?
You can find me at Twitter at Raspberry Razz. You can also find me on Instagram at Molly Raspberry. You can also find me on Letterboxd at just Molly Raspberry.
Yes. All right, folks. Till next time. We'll catch you later.